What's everybody doing? So I should be live now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Oh, we all over.
So I wanna see what people. I want you guys to conversate with me doing this. Um, and it's funny because I'm saying that. Okay, I'm gonna get back to that later. So I might not be able to see your comments, but you know me, Mama Fee gonna work it out. So today I'm doing a Do You podcast with Mr. Samuel Leslie Braxton, who just happens to be my nephew. But Sam is a personal trainer, and he's a really, really got it going on young man, bright future ahead of him. Sam, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Give us a little background.
Okay. Well, Auntie, I appreciate you, aka Mama Fee, for the great introduction. I'm excited to get on this, and actually, finally, that we are able to get on. We had a little bit of a glitch over last weekend, so it's good to just have a good conversation. But a little bit about myself. I start here first with always saying I'm a father first. As you know, I'm all about my little dude, Emery Braxton. My 3-teen, I call him 3-teen because he's 3 years old, but he gives me attitude like he's a teenager already. He's stubborn. So I'm a father first, but what I do is I help people. That's at the end of the day of everything that I do and why I do what I do. So I'm a strength and conditioning coach and sports performance coach by trade. I've been a strength and conditioning professional for going on 8 years here now. And I've
Okay.
worked with a variety of athletes, people in a variety of different settings. And pretty much what I am about is helping people do three main things. I want you to build muscle, I want you to build strength, and I want you to do this over a long length of time. So I want you to have sustainable health habits. And so I meet people where they are or where they're at when I meet them, build relationships with them, and then hopefully and most importantly, help them get to where they want to be in terms of their health. So that's what I do, and that's what I'm about.
Okay, and I want you guys to know Sam isn't just doing this as a hobby. Sam graduated from Morehouse and then graduated with his master's from UGA. So
Mm-hmm.
he has got the education and credentials behind him for what he's doing. He's not just talking this, he does this, he knows this, and he loves it. So he's good at it.
And I gotta correct you a little bit. I gotta say the Morehouse College because I gotta give my alma mater a shout out. It was just our Founders Day this past week. Our Founders Day is always on Valentine's Day, which actually is always a good way to remember our institution's Founders Day. So big shout out to my alma mater, the Morehouse College, and yes, I also support my UGA Go Dogs. We got gypped a little bit this year, but we coming back next year.
Okay. Well, let's just jump right into it, Sam. So, tell me about your approach and philosophy towards health. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So my approach towards health is centered around those three main things: building muscle, building strength, and then sustainability. So let's just start with building muscle. Why building muscle? Because when terms of helping when people work on their health or work on their fitness, or if they're an athlete that I work with, like my youth athletes, they want to perform well in some endeavor, whether that's a sport or recreational activity. All right. We need to make sure that we build muscle because muscle helps improve our quality of life.
There you go.
Where the conditioning and cardio piece, when I work with people, is helping us sustain the longevity of life. So if anybody listening to this, two things to take away: building muscle and building strength will help in the quality of life, so how you want to live, and then the cardio conditioning, your walks, your steps, doing types of circuit trainings, interval trainings, that's going to help you in terms of your longevity in life. You hit those two things, you're going to be good and you're going to have a good overall life. So I help people build muscle because as we get older, we want to maintain as much muscle mass as possible, because as you maintain your muscle mass, that will also help you maintain your strength, your ability to do the things in your daily life, right? And sometimes we don't think about the normal things in our life that require strength. For example, one of my clients, that started working back with me was because she had issues getting down the stairs.
Ah,
And so, and that requires single leg strength, mobility, stability in the hips and ankles. And we don't necessarily think about it until those things are taken away. And so we want to make sure that we build muscle, we maintain strength, and then we do things that we can do long term.
right.
So if you want to talk about a fitness plan, or if you want to talk about even a nutritional plan, my one question I'm always going to ask you is, can you do this for the next 10 years? If the answer to that question is no, then we probably should just put that off to the side. If the question is yes, then we build the habits, skills, and practices around that to make sure that you can do that for the long term. Because if I can build a healthier individual, we're building healthier wives, husbands, professionals, relatives. Anything that you want to do in this life, you're going to do in your body. That is your ultimate ministry. Now, how you do it is going to be different for each person. And that's what my role is, to help you become the best and healthiest version for yourself, for the things that truly matter.
Somebody just asked me, hey, MamFe, who are we talking with today? Just for you who might have came in a little bit late, Miss Stephanie, this is my nephew, Sam, and he's a personal training and fitness individual. And so I'm letting him give people some background history on what he does. He's in the Atlanta area, and he's always looking for new clients, but he's really trying to help from kids up. He works from youth to adults, trying to help people maximize on their body and be able to live in their body and have a healthy life for as long as they can. And it starts with our youth. I just want to say that. United States has a big obesity problem right now. And kids, unfortunately, a lot of the issues with the kids is because, when we were growing up, my generation, the baby boomers, dyslexia, we were outside all the time. We went outside in the morning. We didn't come back home till the street lights came on. The kids now, they don't go outside. They're on the couch looking at TV, playing video games. And so they're not moving like we used to move. So you're seeing obesity start a whole lot earlier. And I'm not saying that to put shade on kids that might be heavier and that kind of thing, because everybody still has the ability to get healthy, get in shape, stay healthy. So that's why I'm talking to Sam, because he really wants to work with parents through to their kids, because if the parents are healthy, guess what? They're going to help their kids get healthy. So with that being said, I'm going to let Sam jump in.
Yeah, you made a really good point. And not only is that just through what we see, you can look through research and how the impacts, and even, for example, with motherhood specifically, a mother's health, we can actually correlate that with children's health. There is evidence of that. And one thing I want people to think about when it comes to that your health is always a priority.
Absolutely.
I want everyone to really understand that your health is always a priority. And in fact, I will challenge you even more, for those listening, is your health is a life skill. It is a life skill to know how to move your body. It is a life skill to know how to eat for your body. These are skill sets, and the same skill sets that we want our children to learn about with, say, for example, I always use the analogy with finances. You have to know, and you have to build up the skill of being able to manage your money. If not, it's only a matter of when you're going to have to learn that skill, because your quality of life is going to be dictated upon your ability to manage your money. I think we can agree with that. So if you do not manage your health and say, I'm just going to put that on the back burner, and what sometimes I see a lot as a coach is that they put it on the back burner until they get that health report, then it has to be a priority. Well, let's be proactive instead of reactive. And so as I like to help our parents understand this, is if it becomes a priority for you, if it is a value for you, it will then become a value for your kids, because they're understanding their value system through witnessing you. And that's just the reality of things. So let's make it a priority. Now, does that mean you have to train like a bodybuilder or a CrossFit lifter that's competing? No, not. I'm not saying that at all. But in some ways, like from the kids viewing from the parents' perspective, they do need to see you, eating well. They do need to see you prioritizing taking steps or being active, because it's going to force them to be active. All right.
Yes.
It's going to encourage them to be active. And if that is a value that you have in your household, then they will live that out. And one family at a time means one community at a time, which means one city at a time, which means one state at a time, and so on and so forth. And
There
so
you
your health is always going to be a priority. And I help people figure out, well, how and in which way in this season of your life can it be a priority for what you're trying to achieve.
Okay, okay. So give people an idea of the demographics of your clients right now, so we get a feel for the little bit of everybody that you're messing with.
Yeah, for sure. So so I work with two different populations. Mainly, I would call one like my general population or adult client population, and then I work with youth athletes. With my youth athletes that I work with are primarily in middle and high school, that I work with out in the Decatur area here in Georgia. And so I've been working within that group even more specifically for the last 2 years. But I actually started my coaching career with youth athletes, and I really enjoy that population, because that's how I actually got into fitness and training, starting at the age of 13. So this is kind of my way of paying it back forward.
There you
So
go.
I work with middle and high school. I've worked with upper levels, but I like that specific population. And in that also realm of athletes are also athletes coming from ACL injury. So right now I probably have about 4 athletes that are 6 months post their rehab process. A couple of them have already transitioned back into their sport and are slowly getting back to full contact on the field. Primarily, these are soccer athletes, but I work from basketball, soccer, volleyball. Then with my adult population, primarily between adults between the ages of about 25 to honestly even up to 60. Right,
Okay.
I work within those ranges, and I customize and individualize their training specifically to what they want to do. But a lot of them and a lot of my clientele that I work with are those that want to improve their longevity in life, their quality of life, the longevity of life, and then also, if you look good, you feel good. So there's always that piece of it. So with my adult population, that's what we like to work on, is getting you stronger. Let's build up your muscle, and then with your physique work, we're gonna dial in on your nutrition. Let's make it simple. Let's make it more mindless to your lifestyle, to where it doesn't have to be another task.
Right.
And real about it, for many adults, if I try to talk about nutrition, it just feels like another to-do list on their day. My goal is to try to help it feel more mindless and more simple and more tangible and digestible for you to be able to achieve.
Right. And even in that, just like little things that people can do at home, in their day-to-day lives, and I'm practice this myself, or at least try to, take the stairs instead of the elevator, park across the parking lot and walk further to the door. Now, Dwayne will laugh at me right now because, if it's too hot outside, if it's raining outside, I'm like, why are we parking way over here? Why don't we? The door is right there. So you really do have to make this a practice,
Yeah,
to make a diligent effort to park further away and allow yourself to have to walk. That's steps you're getting in. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. That's steps you're getting in. That's
yeah,
cardio you're getting in. And so if we could take little steps just like that, and then put it all together with what Sam could do as a personal trainer for you, oh my God. I mean, you'd be surprised. Weight can drop off. So I won't say so easy, because as you get older, it gets harder. But even in little things, if you drink 5 sodas a day, drink 1, and then maybe go to some water. Little things
yeah.
like that. I mean, jump in on that one, Sam.
Yeah, I think for most people, when they get started, especially since we just started at the beginning of the year, they want to make these big macro shifts.
Yes.
I'm going to challenge people to say, instead of trying to make the big macro shift, I want you to make the micro shift. And you already stated one of those in that example. So if you look at like the ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine, they say, hey, get 30 minutes of steady state cardio a day. Okay, well, I'm going to give you even a more tangible and more digestible example of this. So say, instead of even just the parking lot example, you're at work. After every hour of you doing work, I want you to walk for 5 minutes. Walk around. If you work at home, walk around your neighborhood. If you're in the house, walking back and forth, walking up down the stairs, right? Walking to go to the bathroom. If you're at your office, okay. If you take your workout day and every hour you break that up in terms of 5 minutes,
That's
you
30
add that
minutes.
up. That's 30 minutes, right? You didn't do anything outside of your day except for making an intentional effort.
There you
And
go.
so now you allow that to accumulate over time. And that's all that it is. And so for some people, make the micro shift of your lifestyle to make it a priority,
Yes.
to allow those health outcomes. And that's what a lot of things come down to. You mentioned the things like the soda, right? For some people, oh, I need to drop calories. Okay, well, if you look at the back of a soda can, that's probably anywhere between 100, probably like 200, 300 calories. Okay. So, well, if you're drinking four of those, right, well, you're ingesting probably about a big meal in terms of your drink. Well, if you want to drop weight, well, don't ingest your calories through liquids. That's a very simple rule I like to use with people. Okay, so if you're having a hard time with that, let's look at those juices. Let's cut those out. We probably need a little bit more water. Good rule of thumb is if it's not water, it's not water. If it's not water, it's not water.
Sweet tea ain't water.
If it's not water, it ain't water. So I want you to drink water.
Okay.
And just
I
those little
love
things
that.
can make a big shift.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, Sam, when I was on Big Brother,
Uh-huh.
what I got known for was my weekly comment with regards to the faith of a mustard seed.
Yeah.
Think back to a time where something has happened in your life and it was strictly the faith of a mustard seed that got you through, and
Yeah.
how you handled it.
Yeah, honestly, I would say this past year, in starting my own personal training, nutrition coaching business. Um, as I've been training for a while now, I was working at other studios, even here in the Atlanta area. I was working in a studio in Midtown. And I remember friends and family always saying to me, why aren't you doing this for yourself? You have this knowledge, you're doing these things. When I talk to you, you know what you're doing. You talk to me about your clients, you show me this stuff with your clients, but why aren't you doing this for yourself? And as I stepped into this year, or would have been the end of 2022, starting my own business, it was a literal leap of faith. I remember even remember typing my caption and just sitting there on my phone before I posted it to Instagram and Facebook that I was starting a business, because now if I post it, now everyone's going to hold me accountable
Yes,
to this
yes,
dream that I wanted to do, and this vision that I had in my mind on how to help people in the way that I see it, in the way that really can make an impact. And so taking that leap and then getting the initial reaction of, oh, congratulations, all this stuff. But then even in the first year, not really planning out, or it didn't go as planned, I should better say.
right, right.
And being able to accept that and still keep moving forward. And
Yes,
just telling myself that even though it's not as I planned it to be, maybe I'm not where I thought I would be in the first year, because it's always going to take you a little bit longer than what you imagine.
absolutely.
But that all work works.
Yes,
And that's why I kept telling myself, all work works. So
yeah,
even though it did not work out in the way that I wanted to happen, the outcome, it's still working on me, which will later on produce the outcome. And I
yes.
will only fail if I stop.
There you
And so
go.
for me, my way of taking that mustard seed faith was making that post, and then each day just saying, keep on going. Keep
There
on
you
taking
go.
that step, because even if I don't see the outcomes that I overall want, because I'm always gonna, and you know me, I am very much hard on myself. I'm harder on myself than anyone else can be.
Yes.
But that all work works, and if I keep doing the work, it's gonna work out.
There you go. There you go. You got to trust that too, because Again, I think we get excited, new things are happening, and everybody wants instant results. And everything takes time. But if you put in the work day after day after day, at some point, you're going to see it materialize. It's going to happen. So that's where that mustard seed of it, you have to trust and believe. God, I'm listening to you, I'm following you, I'm putting in the work. So it's
Yeah,
working. It's
yeah.
working.
And one thing even about that I had to think about even to myself was that when the seed gets put into a ground, that space is real dark, it's real damp, it's not pretty, there's a lot of rocks, there's a lot of barriers there.
There you
But it's
go.
also the stuff from the ground that gives that plant or that tree the nutrients. So until we get planted, until we go through that dark space or that grinding space, we're not going to get the nutrients that we need that's going to help, produce the fruit and the
Right.
berries that we want. And
Right.
so I had to get comfortable with being in the dark space, doing the work when I'm not getting the praise.
There you go.
So until you get comfortable with that, then you can't enjoy the fruits of your labor. And it's honestly the same thing with training. People many times they want that first 3 workouts and then all of a sudden I drop 10 pounds. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
And so as much as people want,
Right.
it doesn't work like that. And I'll just say it this way, that say you wanted to lose weight, you didn't gain that weight in 3 meals. You're not going to lose it in 3 meals.
No, you just said something. You just said, are you always listening? He just said something.
Right? But it's the accumulation effect. And so if you take that process or that mindset and just say like, okay, this is from an accumulation, all I just need to do is do it on the opposite end of the spectrum. I just need to
Yes.
keep doing it. Just like the training process. You feel a little bit weaker when you initially start. You might be doing some push-ups. Oh, you're really struggling. And then to do 8 reps. And all of a sudden, 8 reps was a little easier. Oh, now I can do 10. Oh, now I can do 12. Now I can do 20.
Yes.
That's the process. And so you gotta get used to being in the dark. Just a little bit to allow yourself to be in the light.
And I think too, if people, this is something that I do for myself. I've always been I've never needed other people to motivate me.
Yeah.
I am a self-motivated individual. And so
Oh,
what
we
I
know that.
try to do now, I have my lazy days where I say, oh, I don't feel like doing nothing. Once I get up though, it's like today. I said, Felicia, get up, got on the treadmill. And what I try to do is every day do more than I did yesterday. If it's just 1 second longer. So like I'm building myself up on the treadmill. Now, when me and Dwayne walk outside, but it's still a little chilly for the outside walking. But on the treadmill, I started off, and it's just been a couple of weeks. And when
Yeah.
I first did it, I think I did 1.5 miles, and I was really excited about that 1.5 miles. And I think 100 calories, 150 calories. Well, now here I am 2 weeks later, and I'm doing 45 minutes over 3 miles, almost 3.5 miles. And I think I did 400 and something calories today. And so every day I just say, if I do 375 calories today, tomorrow I got to do 376, 380, 400. So I'm always trying to outdo what I did the day before, little bit by little bit by little bit. And you look up and you realize, okay, I'm at an hour, 5 miles, and 1,000 calories. You increase the pace a little bit more, the incline a little bit more. Every day, just try to do a little bit more than you did yesterday. And you look up and you say, oh my God, how did I get here?
Yeah, for sure. And even with that, I would encourage you to even look at more of the objective outputs. Because
Yes.
one thing with the body is as you get more fit, especially cardiovascular wise, it's going to get more efficient at not burning as many calories for the
Right.
same work. So there is going to be a little bit of that. But one thing that you can a good way to measure, and this for folks, a good way to understand fitness is how much work can you do over time or say distance, right? So if you walk that mile, but now instead as you walk that mile, you walk it and you finish a minute less than what you did before, you're more fit.
There you go.
because you're more efficient at you doing that same amount of work. Then you can challenge yourself and say, okay, well, now let me either increase my time or increase my level of work, your pace, your
Right.
tempo. So now this is why like fitness, right? I get excited about this, but this is why fitness is a lifestyle thing. You can do this for your entire life, and you need to do this for your entire life because it is your life. You deserve to have a fit life because it's going to impact you in so many different ways. And so
Yes.
just do a little bit more work or allocate a little bit more time. If you're short on time, do a little bit more work. And you're going to see some really good strides.
And I'm going to say this to the young people, when I was 20, you could have something coming up on the weekend and not eat for 2 days, and you could drop 5 pounds and be fine and tight in your little one-piece jumpsuit. Well, at 63, that doesn't happen. So I just want to say that do
Well,
right by your
I'm
body.
approaching 30, and I'm telling you right now, it's not as easy as you even think for us, some of us young folk.
Right, right. What you could do at 20, you can't do at 30, and so on, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. But
That's
something
right.
actually for some of us more senior, too, we got to be careful. We got to keep our bone muscles and stuff strong because as we get older, we get a little clumsier. We start falling and stuff like that. We break bones a whole lot easier, but we heal a whole lot slower. And so we want to have our bodies in good strength. We need strength and conditioning to build up our muscles, to build up our strength so that if and when we take falls, we don't get injured as bad. You want to caveat on that a little bit, Sam?
Yeah. So as you get older, there's some may have heard this, some may have not, but if not, there is a known condition called sarcopenia. All that is what we call age-related muscle loss. So around the time you get to 40, there is going to be each year, each couple of years, you're going to lose a little bit of muscle mass. Now, it's not going to be astronomical, right? It's small percentage points. However, the difference is as you go through that age-related muscle loss, it's about the rate in which you lose that muscle. So many times people think that as they lose muscle or as they get slower in age, it's because I'm just aging. And it's actually, no, that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
It's because we're losing that muscle mass. And what I say earlier, okay, your muscle mass is going to be highly correlated to your quality of life, right? And we can measure that with your strength, especially like things like grip strength and things of that nature. So as you get older, strength becomes more important. What's one of the best ways or primarily the best way to battle against sarcopenia? Resistance training. Resistance training is going to be the best medication for that age-related muscle loss because the muscle loss that is lost in sarcopenia is what we call your type 2 muscle fibers. Those are your power and your strength muscle fibers. As you get older, your body gravitates to what we call your type 1 fibers. Those are more your endurance, or we call your slow twitch. So what resistance training does is it helps maintain and grow specifically those type 2 muscle fibers that need intensity and need speed. Resistance training allows you to maintain that. So yes, as you get older, do you need things like walks and cardio? Yes. But once again, we talked about it in terms of quality of life and longevity of life. That is going to go to the longevity of life. You need to have some forms of resistance training 1 to 2 times a week as a maintenance way to battle it against that.
And
Okay?
what do you consider resistance training so that people know?
Right. So resistance training is a variety of things. Okay. Most notably weight training. Okay. Now weight training, and you can use a variety of modalities from dumbbells to kettlebells to barbells, trap bars, right? I'm a functional strength coach. So we utilize all those tools in order to where your body is creating force against the resistance, right? But there's also, you can utilize your body weight as a way of resistance because we're always going to get resistance from gravity. So things like many people that do home workouts can invest into things like a TRX or suspension trainer, because now I can invert my body back, or I can utilize gravity. I can change my body position and utilize gravity as a way of resistance to now where my body has to create force in order for me to complete this movement.
Okay.
Right? So if you're like, for example, a pull-up is a form of resistance training. All right, you're just utilizing your body weight, but gravity is trying to pull you down while you're trying to pull yourself up. I have to have enough force for me to pull myself up in order to battle against gravity trying to pull me down. Okay, resistance bands, mini bands, pull-up bands are ways in which another tool to use as resistance training.
That's
Okay,
what I was going to ask. Those rubber band things, that's considered resistance, right?
you can utilize that. Those are resistance training. I actually, for many of my clients that travel a lot, I encourage them to purchase resistance bands or specifically pull-up bands. You can grab them from Amazon, grab a pack of them for about $30. Okay, they last long. Probably at least a good 1 to 2 years worth of it. It's $30. I mean, we blow $30 on anything now. So buy them. You can take them with you during your business trips or take them with you during vacations. And even if you can't get to the gym, you can use them at home. You can do a full body workout with them, from banded presses to banded rows to banded squats to banded RDLs or deadlifts. You can tie them to, you can anchor them to your staircase. There's a variety of ways in which you can use them, but you can use them to still do the same thing, creating it against resistance. And for many people, in that form of resistance training will help you maintain strength. It will help maintain muscle mass versus not doing anything. Okay, so if you want to have the quality of life that you want to live, when you go on a vacation, go on those hikes or excursions, right? You're going to need that strength.
Right.
Do the resistance training to allow you to have that strength to do the fun things in life.
Okay. So listen, I see people live. Does anybody want to put in a chat any questions? I'm going to take about 5 questions for Sam before we get off, and then I'm going to tell you how you can contact him while you guys are typing your questions. In fact, I'm going to tell you it's Sam at SamB. Okay, so Sam at sbperformancesolutions.com.
Mm-hmm.
sbperformancesolutions.com. And his IG handle Instagram handle is coach.sam.braxton. So those are 2 ways that you can contact Sam. You can look him up. And if you actually want to, if you're in the Atlanta greater area, if you want to connect with him, or if you just want to go live, he's got a web page and all of that. In fact, you even do online classes, correct? He's doing online classes. You don't even have to be sitting in Atlanta. He could hook you up. You guys could connect, and he could set something up where he comes live on your computer and instructs and coaches you, all kinds of things going on. Okay, so here's somebody, they said, what's your thoughts on push-ups? I think that's Denise. And what do you mean by that, Denise? What's your thoughts on push-ups? So I'm gonna ask that question. That's what they're asking. What's your thoughts on push-ups?
So push-ups is a form of resistance training.
Okay.
Right? Push-ups is a form of resistance training. If you struggle with push-ups, what I would, especially just from the ground, what I would encourage you to do is start from an incline position and then work your way on down. So I'll give you a couple of different examples, and I'll use a gym example, and then I will use an example at home. So a gym example could be, doing it from a bench. I actually like for folks to do them from like a squat rack or a Smith machine bar, because you can adjust the squat rack handle, the height of it on down, so you can start at a height that's challengeable or that's challenging enough for you. After you get good with them in about an 8 to 12 rep range, to where you, especially you have about 1 to 2 reps left in the tank. Say if I could keep going until you couldn't do any more, go to where you got about 1 or 2 reps left in the tank. Then start to drop that height, and that difference in height, it's a difference in resistance. So you can do the same thing here at home. Start here with maybe you're starting here with a chair, and then you incrementally go to a small box. Then you go with your hands slightly elevated. Then you go here, and then you go from the ground. Okay, either of those options are a way for you to build up your strength in that position.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Denise, did that answer your question? She said, great. That's Denise. That's Denise. It was my maid of honor in our wedding.
Yeah. I was looking at it. I was like, oh, okay, I think I know that name.
She recognizes you. Yeah. And I see Tanya. Tanya is the one that was in the delivery room when I had Jair.
Okay. Right up there with mom. Okay.
I got some folk
What's
on
up,
here. These
y'all? How
my
y'all doing?
girls. Carolyn, I think I saw Carolyn. Now the thing is moving, but I know I saw Carolyn. So
Yeah.
Crumpster was on the line. Okay. Somebody says, is a plank considered resistance? That's Denise.
Yes. Yes. A plank would be considered resistance because in a form of resistance training, this will become. So I want you to think of this in terms of body weight resistance, right? So when you are doing a plank, whether that's a side plank, front plank, bridge position, your body is trying to create force to maintain position, right? What we call an isometric action, right? When your muscle fibers are not lengthening nor contracting, they're maintaining a length, and now they're creating tension and force. And so, in order to do that, your body has to still be able to create force and energy to maintain that position. So, those forms of planks can be is also considered resistance training. I encourage you to challenge yourself from different positions, different heights. For example, you can do a side plank and a bent knee position, goes into a straight leg position. You can elevate your feet, right? You can once again play with angles, like good pictures. You play with the angles, play with those angles to get a little bit more resistance out of your planks.
Okay, here, this one is from Tanya. She says, I recently started back working out high impact step after being dominant for a really long time. I think she might have been dormant. The struggle is keeping flexible with hip flexors. I don't want to injure myself. How can I strengthen this area without quitting this form of exercise? Can you see the question, Sam?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
So, if I understand that correctly, is as they're doing their, I'm assuming this is probably a step up class, and they're maybe a little bit tight in the front of the hips, and they're needing to maybe strengthen the hip flexors to especially to reduce the risk of injury. So, one of the best advices I can give is a lot of times weakness is not due to a lack of mobility, right? It can be, but a lot of times your weakness can be due to a lack of strength. And so if, for example, usually I would ask maybe a few more questions, but if your hip flexors are a little bit weak, I would encourage you to strengthen them and through a variety of exercises. You could do things from shortened positions of your hip flexors. That might be, be doing like banded knee drives, to more lengthened positions. I would actually encourage you to look up what we call like hip cars, controlled articular rotations. They are from a company called FRC, Functional Range Conditioning, and they have many good exercises that will help strengthen up those hip flexors. They're great for overall mobility, because the difference between mobility and strength is your ability to control the ranges of motion, right? And many times when you get injured, it's because you cannot control the degrees of motion and ranges of motion that you're getting into. So I would look up those specific. I would probably demonstrate them here, but for sake of time, I would say look up hip cars for hip flexor strength, and any of those variations would be a good option for you to do.
Okay. I see this next question. I'm not sure that it's a Sam question. It says, what's my thoughts on Nanny Gonzalez from MTV? I have no idea who Nanny Gonzalez is, so I can't answer that question.
I don't know who that is either.
Sorry about that.
I'll try to fill you in, but I'm not sure if I understand. I don't understand who that is either. So
Yeah, I have no idea. What am I doing? Yeah, from the challenge. I don't know who that is. I haven't watched the last season of the challenge, so I cannot answer that question. Well, Sam, it has been exciting to have you on the podcast. You were supposed to be my first one, and we again trying to get all of this streaming stuff together, but we done finally figured it out. And I am happy to have been able to expose you out there. I'm going to take this recording. I believe I can take it and upload it, and I'll put it out there on Instagram, because I think something's telling me my Instagram may not have gone live. I think it might have gone out. So I'm going to post it. But like I said, to anybody who wants to get a hold of Sam, send them emails, texts, whatever. Wait a minute, I'm trying to make my phone go back. What just happened?
Yeah, if anyone is looking for some help, Auntie Felicia, I know you mentioned my information, but once again, you can feel free to contact me anytime. For my email, it's sam@sbperformancesolutions.com. That's what my business name is, SB Performance Solutions. You can reach me there at that email. You can also reach me on Instagram via coach.sam.braxton. I'd be happy to help you out in any way, whether that's in-person coaching, whether that's remote and virtual coaching. There's a lot of options, but my main thing is let's make an impact. Let's get you healthy. Let's make you the best version of yourself. So hopefully
there you go.
you can digest and take away.
There you go. And I always say every day, try to be the best version of yourself. And part of that is being healthy. It really is. So thanks, Sam. I appreciate it. Great job. Anything I can do to help you going forward, just let me know. You know, Auntie Fee, Smooches loves you to death. And so thanks to everybody who signed on. I'm going to post this and I want you guys to share it. So if after I post it live, share it to friends and family because they'll be able to watch the recording because he gave some really good information. So we want to get this out there. All right. Mama Fee out. Thanks. Holler, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Everyone.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.